Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. We are here talking about NBA Finals. Little Oklahoma City Thunder beatdown coming in Game 3, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man. The people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Tanner. We are 1-1 in the finals. I'm hoping that we can get to 6-7 games. You know, I'm kind of tired of seeing the blowouts. Game 1 was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen. Game 2 was a lot of what we've seen throughout these playoffs. But I mean, the games are only coming every 3 days now. Between the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals, I mean, sometimes you're just not getting very big games on TV, and they're both going to be over soon. So I'm kind of dreading what these next couple of months are going to be like.
But here's my thing. It's hard to care about the NBA Finals right now. It really is. Because they can't even put a logo on the floor. That's an issue, number one. This is a very lopsided NBA Finals. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, we are extremely lopsided. I know the Pacers took one in Game 1. They deserved it. They had the better box score, obviously, outside of the turnovers. But this is a lopsided NBA Finals. If the Thunder do not win this in 5 to 6 games, it would be, some would say, shocking.
I believe Jay-Z has a $1 million bet on Thunder in 5.
I'd feel probably a little better about Thunder in 6. But I like Thunder in 5. I think it's 5 or 6. I would favor 6 over 5. I think the Pacers should get one. But I saw a crazy stat today. Chet Holmgren missed like 50-something games this year, and they still won 68. Was it 68 games?
Yeah, 68-14.
Which is crazy to think he missed all that time and they were still that good. I mean, it just shows how well-rounded of a team they actually are. And you look at the Pacers, they need Tyrese Halliburton on the floor playing his best basketball to have any chance in this.
And he basically has not been on the floor in the first half of these games so far.
Yeah, so I saw something. They were like +3 with him on the floor, and they're -36 without him. So they have no chance if he doesn't play well. This series is over, Grant. The NBA Finals is over.
Okay, it's too early to say that. We don't feel different now. Okay, if we go back to before the series started and we think about how we felt then versus how we feel now, there's no way we feel better about the Thunder now. I think at best it's like the same, and then you give the Pacers a little bit of credit for stealing Game 1. But if it wasn't over before the finals began, so it can't be over now at 1-1.
Yes, no. I mean, what's the series price we got here? We got
-550.
So the Pacers. Yeah, so they opened at what? They were open like +500, I think. They were +450 before Game 1, maybe, and they're now +410. So if you like the Pacers, go for it. It's a good price there. It's just not going to hit.
Yeah, I had to I didn't have to. I had the privilege to write the series outlook for WSN, the World Sports Network, which we will talk about in just a second. And I had to say, what's the best finals pick available? I said, look, I think the Thunder are going to win, but I'm not going to tell you to bet the Thunder at a -700 series price. So I said, take the Pacers at +500, look for that early cash out opportunity and take it when it gets there. And they were +500 before the series started. After Game 1, they were like +240 or something like that. So that should have been the time to hit the button, hit the cash out.
Here's your best bet right here. You want to take a little best bet action, Grant?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Take the series to end in 5 games or 6 games. You're getting +154 for 5 games. You're getting +198 for 6 games.
So you're saying bet both of them?
Yeah, but both of them.
And basically hedge them against each other.
I mean, yeah, I guess. So if you say just put 100 on each, right? So you would be down. You'd make $54, right? Down to 154
or $98, depending on which way it goes.
Yeah, so I think that's. I mean, we don't say free money on the show because there's nothing free in gambling. Nothing free in gambling. With that being said, though, this series is not going 7 games.
Well, I don't know. Indiana, they keep sacrificing everybody. I mean, Jim Irsay, rest his soul, passed away. Darius Garland is out for 5 months with surgery. He's from Indiana. Caitlin Clark is injured. They're sacrificing everybody they can find.
I just don't see it, Grant. I don't see the whatever 7 games. Can't see it.
Well,
Can
you know what I
you?
can't see, Tanner? I can see WSN.com, home of the World Sports Network, which is a place where if you are into sports betting, you got to go check it out. Myself, Tanner, and a team of experts, we write previews for games. We dig into the sports books to find promo codes to get you more opportunities. That can be bonus bets, profit boosts, parlay insurance, all that great stuff, and anything else related to sports betting in any shape or form. You will find it over at WSN.com.
The World Sports Network, the greatest place for all your sports betting content, sports promos, sports books. Grant said it all. It's the best. So go check it out. That is linked down in the bio. Today we're talking about NBA Finals Game 3 coming up tonight. No, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wow. The scheduling's so bad. Scheduling is horrendous. This makes no sense. No sense at all.
I was with you. I was not with you when you said that the playoffs just dragged on forever and it was hard to really get into it, because I enjoy the playoffs. I always have. I've never thought it went too long, and I don't mind giving the players an extra day of rest in the actual finals because I want the best product possible. But this is the first year that I'm kind of feeling fatigued like you. I still love the games. I'm still super into this series, but it does feel like I can't even remember when the play-in tournament was. It feels like a lifetime ago.
Well, the thing is, like, this isn't the most entertaining series on paper. Like, it could be, obviously, if the Thunder continue to do what they've done, or not the Thunder, the Pacers continue to do what they've done. But on paper, it's not super entertaining series. So now, game 2 was on Sunday, right?
Yep.
Which that's messing with me because I feel like it's already Wednesday this week. But I think you're going back to Indiana so you can make the case for the 3 nights off, whatever. But in the end of the day, like, Oklahoma City and Indiana are not that far from each other. Let's just play basketball. Like, one more day of rest is not going to impact these guys anymore. They're still tired. Their bodies are fatigued. Let's play basketball. Let's just get it on the table.
What's so weird to me about these playoffs is we've had some of the best games that I can remember, but the series haven't been great. I think that's the way. The Knicks comeback against the Celtics was phenomenal. The Pacers comebacks against the Cavaliers and the Knicks as well, especially game one in this series, the Thunder Nuggets games, the Nuggets Clippers games, great games. The series for the most part not been entertaining. I think we've only had one game 7, if I'm not, no, 2 game 7s. I think it was Nuggets Clippers and Nuggets Thunder. And I think those are the only 7-game series we've had.
And this one is looking like it's going to be 5 or 6 games. So if you had to give a pick, rank, because I was just running my mouth about 5 or 6, what would you take?
Oh, as far as which team and how many games?
Total games, yeah.
I would say Thunder in 6.
I think that's the way to go. But I just like the overall 6. I guess if it's going to go 6, Thunder are going to win it in 6. So you could take Thunder in 6, get a little more value, bang for your buck there. But if it goes 7, do you think the Pacers have a chance in 7, or is it OKC's game to win?
No, I think they absolutely have a chance in 7. And, I've been the Pacers guy, not just on this show, but I've been higher on the Pacers than pretty much anybody who doesn't live in Indiana. They have the second best record in the entire NBA in 2025. We're acting like the series is over. It's literally tied 1-1 going back to Indiana. Technically, they have the advantage because they stole home court. It's a great team. If they prove that they can win 3 games and force a game 7, then why can't they win a 4th one? Of course, they can win that series if they get it to a game 7, especially with the way that they've been able to make their shots. What I'm worried about is them getting it to the game 7. And I know it is 1-1, and I'm very high on the Pacers. But one thing that's so concerning to me is we're 2 games into this series at this point. Did you know the Pacers don't have a single player who scored 20 points one time? Nobody scored more than 19 points. Meanwhile, Shea has dropped, I think, like 34 and 38 in the first 2 games.
Yeah, no, you can't win like that. I think the strength of the team's awesome, but you need one guy to take over games too. You need a great team performance with the takeover, like you're getting from the Thunder. You got Shea stepping up big, especially game 2. Obviously, game 1 was not their night, but you have the strength of the team also contributing. Like, the Pacers need to play perfect team basketball, but they also need somebody to match the star power of Shea. That has to be Tyrese Haliburton. Obviously, when he's on the floor, the net rating is higher, but if he's not on the floor, that's the issue. And if he's not playing well at the same time, then the Thunder just are going to blow these guys out of the arena.
So Shea had 34 points in game 2. If I were to ask you to guess who had the second most points in the game from either team, who do you think it is?
Game 2, Shea. It was not a pacer. I don't think, was it?
Well, it could be anybody. It could be Chet,
Was it
could be
Alex
Siakam.
Caruso? Was it Alex Caruso?
It was Alex Caruso.
Yes.
He had more points than everybody on the Pacers, more points than everybody on the Thunder, not named Shea. Jalen Williams had 19, so he was third. And then Aaron Wiggins was fourth with 18 points. Aaron Wiggins outscored everybody on the Pacers. Halliburton led them with 17.
So that means that the Indiana Pacers have literally no chance to win the series, Grant. Alex Caruso, that way he didn't score 20 plus all season.
I don't know about that. In the regular season, he might not have. I don't know. He's done it in the playoffs.
I think he's had multiple 20 plus point playoff games this year, but he didn't do it in the regular season. I thought I saw that stat on Twitter.
Oh, you're right. I'm looking at his game log right now. Yeah, he never scored 20 in the regular season.
Yeah, so now he's just coming out being that guy, and that's what you need from a playoff team, championship level team, is what the Thunder are doing right now. Because our knock on the Thunder was coming into the playoffs, it's like, okay, they have a great team, and you always said like, all right, the best 5 to 7 in the NBA playoffs, so you need those kind of guys to step up. Like if you got Alex Caruso scoring 20, it's going to be a long night for the Indiana Pacers, especially with how SGA has just been so far in the playoffs and then in the finals too. I know the first game wasn't a great performance from him, like from a percentage, but he still put up a lot of numbers. Looking at this game here, Oklahoma City being -5 on the road, like if the Pacers can go up a little bit early on, you might get like -3, -4. In that case, like that is a hammer job, in my opinion.
Yeah, I still stand by what I said too about looking at the top 6, top 7 teams, because historically over recent playoff history, that's what has defined these playoffs. It's just different now. And I don't know if this is a sign of the times changing, or maybe this is just a bit of a one-off. But when you looked at a top heavy team and saw how they went up against the Thunder, that's when we got one of the few 7-game series. When they played the Nuggets only wanted to play 6 guys, really. The Nuggets took them to 7 games, and that was with Aaron Gordon having that hamstring strain in game 6, game 7. So that series was incredibly close. Credit to OKC. They pulled it out. But now the team that they're playing has the same MO, that the Pacers are not a top-heavy stacked team. They are also a depth team. Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin, Ben Shepherd, Thomas Bryant. They're going to get 10 guys on the court per game. And when you're trying to go strength for strength against the Thunder team with how dominant the Thunder have been, no matter how much I like the Pacers, I'm not going to say that they are better than the Thunder. Am I going to bet the Thunder at -5 on the road? There's a lot of sharp money saying to do that. It would probably be a no bet for me, but as far as if I had to make a pick, then I would probably take the Thunder at -5.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're the better team. And also, I think going back to that Nuggets series, like to beat the Thunder, you may have to have the top 5 to 7 guys on the floor at once. Like the strength of the team, if you're going against a team defined by a team of players versus a team, like the Pacers or you said great team, like all these depth players, like the Thunder have the better depth. So you're not going to beat them team for team. So you need the star power of Nikola Jokic. You need those guys that can step up and have that big playoff experience. And, 1-to-1 star power can match what OKC can do. Because, Shea gets a lot of credit. Like Chet's a star. Like there's a lot of stars on this team. But, I would gladly run out the Nuggets top 3 guys against the Thunder's top 3 guys any day of the week. And I think that's a competitive game.
Yeah, if it's a 3-on-3 with Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Jokic against Shea, J-Dub, and Chet, you're taking the Nuggets side of it.
Nuggets, yeah, and they would be favored too, especially if fouls were called by the players, because we got a little free throw merchant there in SGA.
He's not been foul baiting in the finals.
Well, I think the Pacers have just done an excellent job against him. I think that's been the biggest thing.
Done an excellent job, you mean by not fouling him?
Yes. Yeah, not by stopping him. They have not stopped him one bit.
No, I was going to say, I mean, he's averaging 36, 6 and 5 on 50% basically.
I would rather let him, I mean, he still shot 12 free throws. He was 11 of 12 from the line in that game too, but I would rather I'd rather let him get to the line in some cases and not foul him, unless you're going to foul him extremely hard. Like if he's driving on you, and I know he's a great foul bear, you gotta beat his ass. And nobody does that. Like very few people, because he's selling all this stuff. Like you got to know if he's driving on you and he's giving up his body. I want to see hands extended. I want to see technicals. I want to see.
So you're really advocating for some violence here.
Yeah, 100%. That's the way to beat him. If you want to come into my paint and you want to drive and do your little free throw merchant game, like we are going to foul you very hard. You are going to pay, because nobody does that. You know, it's like the same thing with Steph Curry when he had the little bandage on his hands. Like, I'm not going to try to hit his hand, but like if he shoots like and I'm fouling him, I'm going to slap the shit out of his hand because I want to hurt him. Like that's what nobody does against SGA, because he's such a foul baiter. People are like, oh my God, he just sold a foul. He just sold a foul. What do you freaking do? No, if he sells a foul next time, you stick your shoulder right in his sternum and you drive him into the ground. And if you get it flagrant, so what? We deal with it. We send a message.
I like the energy. I do. It's just not who the Pacers are.
I know, but that's probably how you have to, if you are going to, if he's going to get these, if he's going to shoot 12 free throws, you got to send a message on 8 of them at least.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it's not practical. Pascal Siakam's not that guy. Miles Turner's not that guy. They don't have someone to do it.
Like Draymond would be fun to watch against him.
Draymond would have been ejected by now.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying though. Like we need an enforcer to be like, okay, Shea, you want to try to come in the paint, like you're gonna feel it. I want you walking to the free throw line limping a little bit, because that's how you stop it.
The thing is, and I have to give Shea credit because he's so good offensively. When he's driving, he's not always actually driving to get a layup. Sometimes he just slams on the brakes and it's a turnaround, or it's the Pacers showed a lot more help defense than they did in game 1 and at many points in these playoffs. And he had 8 assists in the last game. He was kicking it out. So he collapses the defense very quickly, but he doesn't always get to the hoop, which I think also plays into part of why he gets fouled so much, because he's so unpredictable. Normally when you have a full head of steam and you're that close to the basket, you're going right up with it, but he's not doing that all the time.
Yeah. And you look at game 2, honestly, like this is, in my opinion, this is just why the Thunder are better, because when you look at the box score, and obviously Thunder are better, but when you look at the box score, it clearly shows it, because you have a team that basically, like, Pacers played a little worse than the Thunder. Like they shot 45%, Thunder shot 48%. They both got 82 shots up. 3-point, Pacers 35, OKC was 38. Like, and you look at the second half, like very even scoring. But in the second quarter, when the Thunder had the chance to put their foot on the gas and take them out back and finish them off, they found a way to do that, and then they just matched them the rest of the game. Great teams, when they get their opportunities, they're going to take advantage of it. First quarter, obviously, they got it 26-20. Second quarter, they outscored them 33-21. So you have a nice lead going into the half. And then for the most part, I know the Thunder did blow a lead in game 1, but they're not going to blow that lead consistently. And this is what we talked about. The Pacers got to be the ones to set the tone. Second half, obviously, they matched up, but the Thunder found a way when they got their opportunity to stick their foot on the gas and put the Pacers away. They were able to do that, where the Pacers playing from behind stylistically is not going to work against the Thunder for 7 games.
There was a point in the second quarter, I want to say the Pacers were down like 23 in the second quarter, and they go to a timeout, and they come out and they go on a 10-0 run, and it's a 13-point game. And that was kind of the pivot point of, if they get this to within 8 points, that we have a game again, and Indiana's probably going to win. It was so important for OKC. I don't know if it was at that exact point in the game, but I know there was a time where they went on a 17-2 run. But I know when Indy went on that run, get it back to 13, OKC opened it back up to 20. And that was so important, because this Indiana team, you cannot give them life. And that's when the Timberwolves beat the Lakers. The Lakers would make these runs to bring the game back to 6-8 points, and the Timberwolves always had a response. That's what the Thunder have to have here, because Indiana's a streaky team. They're in their finals for a reason. They're going to go on runs. If OKC can consistently respond to those runs, they're going to dominate the series.
Timberwolves-Lakers series feels like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the Luka memes, all I see is half the time on my timeline is people showing Luka's wife's Instagram story of what she just cooked up in the kitchen for Luka.
How many beers has Luka crushed since his NBA playoff reign ended this year?
So I'm going to be honest with you. he looks skinnier every offseason, every single offseason than he does during the regular season. I can't understand that.
Well, here's the problem too with Luka. It has nothing. Yeah, his body type is one thing, but like if he was giving effort on defense, like people would just be like, "That's his body type," because I don't think you're never going to get like jacked Luka. It's just not going to happen. He's just a little pudgy guy. But if he would just play defense, I don't think anyone would have a problem with how he looks. But he doesn't give effort.
He does sometimes, but like you don't know, depending on possession to possession, you don't know if there's effort coming or not. That's what I would say.
So if he would just give consistent effort on defense and he
Yeah.
wasn't fat,
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Edwards, and this was really a Luka stat more than an Anthony Edwards stat, but at the end of the first round, someone made a chart of blow by percentages, basically how it's when you attack the rim and then do you fly right past the defender and get to the rim. And they made a chart looking at like all time playoff runs, Jordan in 96, 97, and LeBron in 13, and James Harden in 18. And Anthony Edwards had the highest blow by percentage of all of them. And Ant was great in that series, but that's a Luka stat. That's he's getting right past Luka with no effort.
That's a problem. That's a problem. Big problem for Luka Doncic.
Yeah. And I mean, the Lakers, they stumbled their way into Luka. Rob Pelinka has done a very bad job of managing this roster for years. And when you have Luka and LeBron, now I know LeBron's at a different stage in his career, but still two guys who force you to play a certain way. You have to intelligently build the roster around them. And I don't think Rob Pelinka is able to do that. So we'll see what happens.
What's his wife been cooking up?
Well, she's always posting pictures of like salads or lean meat with chicken with some tomatoes, a smoothie, stuff like that.
He ain't eating that. His favorite food is potato moussaka.
Did you just look that up?
Yeah, and he also enjoys pasta bolognese. Additionally, he is known for enjoying a flat hamburger with Slovenian cheese. His diet is high in protein, low in carbs, and he focuses on good fats.
I don't know what potato moussaka is a simple casserole type dish made by layering potato rounds and ground beef baked together with a topping. That sounds pretty good.
Cheese and cream too, family favorite, and it was inspired by a special pizza at a Texas restaurant. So like potatoes, cheese, meat, and cream is definitely not something that we need him eating here.
That's what you need a defensive lineman eating.
Slovenian cuisine, which enjoys dishes like potato moussaka and flat hamburgers. I wonder how many flat hamburgers he stacks together.
Hey, this is somewhat on topic here, but guess what I did over the weekend?
What?
I ran 10 miles.
I thought you did a half.
No, I'm doing a half in September.
Gotcha. This was a training run then, or was this a race?
No, it was just with one of my buddies who I actually ran track with in high school. We went out to the trails and we did a run. I hadn't run more than 3 miles outdoors since 2019, and I just did 10. My knees hurt the next day, but it was fine.
What was your pace?
It was like 8:50 or something.
Gotcha.
It was not an effort thing.
Just trying to get the miles done.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't even know if I'm going to do it again. It was really just a very spur of the moment thing. I just texted my buddy because he's training for a marathon. He actually did one in, I think, March, where he held a 6:59 pace for the marathon. So he's actually training for it. And I knew he was going on a run, and I said, let me come with you. And so I just went out and did it.
How many miles do you think Luka could run?
Without stopping?
Without stopping. 10-minute pace.
2.
Do you think he has to be able to run more? I mean, you run a lot in an NBA game up and down the floor.
You do. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably being harsh. Without stopping at 10-minute pace, I would give him, I don't know, but he is also 6'7", 250-ish, 240-ish. Like, that's a lot. It's a lot on the joints. Maybe 3. I don't know.
So he runs 2 miles a game.
I'm surprised it's not more.
Roughly equates to 164 miles over an 82 game season. So 2 miles a game. And you're stopping, like he's just sitting at the 3-point line. He's camping out. Then he's letting guys blow by him. Then he's jogging down the floor. Like he's literally jogging the other way right after he lets the guy go by him.
Yeah.
So. All right, Grant, game 3 pick. You said it was a no decision for you, but if you had to make a pick, you'd go with Thunder -5. I'll take the Thunder -5. Hammer that. Thunder in 5 or 6 games.
I might do that. I might go bet the exactas and just hedge them against each other.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. And then worst case, like game 7, if you want to put a little on game 7, you can, I guess. But I just don't see it going 7 games at all. Also, MVP right now, Shea is -550, Tyrese is +700. So that
Shea should be -10,000.
Yeah, but also if the Pacers win, like I think you need to put Tyrese at you should have Tyrese at exactly what, not exactly, but like if the Pacers are +410 to win, I think Tyrese should be like +500.
I tell you what, if the Pacers win and Shea averages 36, 6, and 5 on 49% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line, also with 3.5 steals per game, which is what he's doing in these playoffs, you might need to break that streak. Only one guy has ever won MVP as the loser. That was Jerry West. There was heavy consideration for LeBron in 15. You would have to put Shea in that conversation.
But it's not about that, because the problem becomes like, all right, now like last year it happened with Connor McDavid. He won the MVP when they lost in game 7 after being down 3-0. Like he didn't come out and speak. He didn't want to talk to the media. Like you want that to be a happy moment. I think that's the biggest thing that holds him back. Because there's been plenty of times where you in all sports, football, baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter, where you could give the MVP trophy to a member of the losing team, but they're just not going to do it because of, I think, number one, the media considerations. Like you want that person on the same team. You want to send that dude to Disney World. Like that's the face of that's just what it comes down to. So I don't think we're going to get that here, no matter what.
I hear what you're saying. I think there's definitely an element of it needs to be so lopsided. Has the best player in a game been the player on a losing team? Of course. But if it's this overwhelming, like let's say somehow, some way the Pacers win this series and Halliburton averages 18 and 8, and then Shea is 36, 6 and 5 with 3.5 steals on the other side, and it's a game 7. That's so lopsided that I'm okay with having that conversation.
Oh, I'm okay with it too. I just don't like you want him to speak to the media. You want him to do all that stuff. I just don't know. It's a little harder. Also, what does the 18 and 8 look like? Is it like fourth quarter takeover, game winning shot? Like what are the memories we're getting from that 18 and 8? That's Tyrese. Like it's not Tyrese's stats in the playoffs all the time. It's like the fourth quarter takeover.
Yeah, he's not a stat player. I agree with you.
The moment, that's what they're called. What's this fake nickname they made up for him? The moment.
The Halaban.
The Halaban's good. That's a good one. But yeah. the moment versus the ISIS Alexander, they're saying
they're calling him Shisis, I think.
ISIS Alexander.
ISIS versus the Halaban.
Twitter will always be undefeated, but no, what was I saying? The moment. I saw something today, like NBA was the moment versus what's Shea's nickname?
The moment versus the MVP.
Moment versus the MVP. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, the moment makes sense, but it's not a cool nickname. And Twitter has gained so much steam with the Halaban that the NBA tried to like impose it at the wrong time. If they had done this 6 months ago, it would have worked out better. But
you just gotta be like Tyrese versus Shea. Game 3, ESPN. You can't be like you can't give somebody a new nickname. Like Mr. Clutch, honestly, I think everyone thought Jalen Brunson was Mr. Clutch, and then he is no longer Mr. Clutch. Like that nickname has fully faded from him, and now it belongs to Tyrese Halliburton. So I would rather say Mr. Clutch versus Mr. MVP rather than the moment. Like what is the moment? Sounds like you ever play the WWE games growing up?
Yeah,
video games, like you could do like they had like names that were like the announcers were pre-made to already say, and like the moment would definitely be one of those nicknames that they had.
That's a good comparison. Yeah. And also I like, this isn't a nickname, but I like that people have been saying what the Hallie. You probably don't know what that, there's a song called What the Helly.
I've seen it on TikTok. I'm in social. What are you making fun of me?
I just didn't know that. I didn't think you would be going to iTunes to find that song. But if you saw it on TikTok, I saw it
on TikTok. Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. Right.
I mean, I like What the Hallie though. I think that's pretty cool. I think the NBA itself might have tweeted that at one point.
I think none of it's cool. I think this would only be a cool series if the Boston Celtics were in it.
Oh my gosh.
What the Hallie, is that cool? I don't know. Like you're taking Tyrese Halliburton with a 5-year-old TikTok song. Weird.
Well, I mean, do we want to stay in New England? We were talking about, we had some NFL news.
No, let's talk about the better. If it was us.
Okay.
Okay. So if you guys don't know, there's a better named Drew. He has been riding around on a world tour with BR Betting right now. He has a ticket open on the Oilers and the Thunder to win the NBA championship, Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, and it had a bunch of legs. It had Liberty on there, it had Dodgers, it had Eagles. I believe it was a 5-leg, but I could be wrong. But basically $13 to win $270K. It all comes down to these two teams. The cash out was $123,000. It was 107 going into last night's game. Panthers wrecked the Oilers. They're up 2-1 now. So I haven't seen the updated cash out. I believe I got to think it's in the 70s or the 80s, I would say. Especially, Thunder look great. They're probably going to win the series most likely, but the Thunder or the Panthers and the Oilers is going to be a little tougher. So Grant, if you got 123 going into the championship, what would you have done? And then if you wouldn't have cashed that out, what would you have done at this point, knowing that you're down 2-1 in one series and the other one looks pretty good?
Yeah, well, just a quick odds update here. So the Thunder are minus 550. The Oilers are plus 215. And if they win and tie the series 2-2, it's probably pick them back at that point. If you're asking me, I always tell people you gamble to gamble. So that means no cashing out. If you're willing to take the risk, you shouldn't be putting up money that you can't afford to lose. As long as you're abiding by that rule, then don't cash out. Let it fly. That's different when you've got one of these lotto tickets, especially a long-term futures parlay. $13, you're being offered 130K for what, 270 was it? 130.
Yeah, $13 to 270, and you're offered 123 at the peak.
I understand, 123 compared to 270. You're in your head, you can't get around the fact that that's a $140,000 difference. And I can understand that view of it. What you've also got to take into account is that's a $123,000 difference from what you have and then what you could have by just pressing that cash out button. I'm not an NHL guy. I know that series started as a pick'em. So right away, you're down to a coin flip. And then also, as heavy favorites as the Thunder were, the Pacers did win game 1. And that wasn't totally out of nowhere because that's all they've done throughout these entire playoffs. So I would have taken the cash out. I would have taken the 123 and run.
So it's a tough situation because we'll never understand what it's like unless we were in the situation. So I want to preface it with that. Like everybody online, the comment section is like, oh, you should have cashed out. I hope you fail. I hope you lose, blah, blah, blah. Well, you also at the same time too, like you're going to games, like you're getting media attention, like you're getting all this stuff too. So like he is winning in that regard. I think I would have made a deal for myself. If the Panthers go down or go up 2-1, I would probably cash out at that point. Like anytime the Oilers are in a situation where they're in trouble, I'd cash out. I think with the Thunder, like Thunder could go down 2-1 on Wednesday. They're fine. Like I still don't worry. But if the Panthers went up 2-1 at any point, I would cash out and I would be willing to take the 40 grand loss and probably take the 80,000, assuming the cash out is that high. It could be lower. I'm not sure. But I probably would have done that strategy and cashed out and let it ride for a little bit. But
so here's a question for you. So then it's 2-1 in that series that you were talking about. The next game's on Thursday. The next NBA game is on Wednesday. So would you wait for Wednesday, see if the Thunder can go up 2-1 to boost that cash out value and then take it from there?
I don't know. I probably would, because then if they don't, because you're not going to get that much of a difference, I don't think. I don't think Thunder winning is going to make a significant difference because that's a game they're expected to win and they're minus 550 to win the series. So like going from minus 550 to minus 1,000, you're not going to get that much boost on your ticket because that's expected. Like the series that matters is that Panther series. So I'd be inclined to wait, but also if they lose, then you're going to take another big hit on your cash out, where if they win, I just don't think the cash out goes up a ton. So that's probably what I would have done, knowing that like I'm getting to go to some games and getting a little media attention with it. But I don't know. 123 is a lot of money, especially like you're a 21-year-old kid and you put that in the bank, and that's a really good start for your adult life too.
Yeah, put
Pay
that
off
right in the investment account. You're good.
and or you just pay off your student loans potentially. Like if you have loans, like that number could just pay it off and you start debt free, which is a really good start.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens. I don't think the Panthers are going to lose the Stanley Cup. I think the Panthers are going to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. And I don't watch a lot of hockey, but they put belt to ass last night, and the Oilers aren't ready for it.
Yeah, 6-1 is 6-1 something. They had won 1, 2, 3, 4. The Oilers had won 5 straight games, including the game 1, but now they lost 2 straight.
Yeah, and there were like 3 fights last night, I believe, too. I was watching the Red Sox, by the way, the shittiest franchise in MLB history. But I saw the highlights of the NHL game this morning, and there were like 3 fights, and the Panthers literally just put belt to ass in the fights too. Like they won every fight, which was crazy.
Do you know what is the correlation? Like, does a team's winning fight percentage equal a winning record? Is there any correlation between those?
That's a good idea to look up. I don't know. I'm assuming the teams that fight the most and can back it up are probably the teams that play the best in hockey because it's just like that grittiness. Like the Panthers, if the Panthers didn't break the Oilers' will last night, I don't know what it takes to break their will because they beat them on the ice, they beat them in the fight. So I'm assuming if you're good at fights, you win games. Red Sox though, Grant, they lost 10-8 in extra innings last night. In the 11th, they were down like 4 or 3 multiple times. They came back every time, and then they couldn't finish the game off. Very bad performance. Got to fire Alex Cora.
Well, I'm wondering what it takes to break Paul Skeens' will. He has a 1.88 ERA and he's 4-6. Let's see. His last 5 decisions, 4 of them have been losses, despite him having like a 1.0 ERA.
He'll get traded though because like they know they can't afford to pay him if he hits free agency, and like not this year maybe. I don't know when he'll get traded, but they're not going to be able to afford it. They're not going to be able to afford him in free agency. They could get like a huge asset package, which is how those teams survive with their minor leaguers and stuff. So they could get a really good deal for him. I think they'll trade him at some point. Maybe not this trade deadline, maybe next trade deadline, because they're never going to be able to keep him there unless they pay him a ton of money. Even if they pay him a ton of money, like if I was him, I would take $100 million less to go somewhere else to like have a chance to win.
I mean, dude, a 1.88 ERA, a 0.84 WHIP, and you're 4-6 in your starts.
And you date Livy Dunn.
Yes,
that's the weirdest combo. It's like like she's very outgoing and like social media. He's like, I don't want anything to do with that.
I mean, opposites attract.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so we got a little football news to talk about before we wrap up the show. Grant, why don't you take us into the football news? Training camp, minicamp starting today.
Yeah, so there are 3 big names that Tanner and I are watching, guys who could potentially be on the move, guys who have been in trade rumors. Trey Hendrickson, Bengals All-Pro edge rusher, Tyreek Hill, Dolphins receiver, Terry McLaurin, Commanders receiver. If I were to tell you that one of those 3 guys was getting moved before week 1, who would you say it is?
Tyreek.
Okay. I would have said Trey.
Trey or Ty. I would go Trey, Tyreek in that same, because Tyreek doesn't want to be there. Like when your diva receiver doesn't want to be in a place, that makes it really hard. Like he's going to get moved. Trey, I don't know. What are they, in the end of the day, like with the Bengals kind of own Trey. They can't afford to trade Trey defensively. And what's he going to do? Sit out this year? Like he's going to hurt himself. So that's the only reason I say it's hard to trade Trey, because you're giving up an all-pro pass rusher. And what are you going to get in return?
Well, you know what's weird? So Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart, both edge rushers who have not signed their contract because they're frustrated with the Bengals. They're actually helping each other until one of them signs. As soon as one of them signs, whoever it is, the other one has lost all of their leverage, because it's like, we got the guy we wanted. We don't care about you. You're under contract. We don't need to trade you. But if they both continue to hold out, then one of them's going to get what they want.
Trey's under contract. He has to play this year.
He's under contract. Yeah. I mean, he could sit out and just forfeit his game checks.
He could, but are you gonna give up $15 million and then enter free agency in a year and like after missing a full season? You know, this is like 31. Like he's coming to the end, which it's amazing he's that old, but he's coming to the end of his career. That's why he wants this deal, because he doesn't want to. He just wants the deal, 3 more years, whatever it is, and then retire as a Bengal. But like they kind of got Trey Hendrickson by the balls here, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to take smartly. Other teams out there are smartly not offering the huge package to Cincinnati. And Cincinnati can say, we don't, unless we get that, you're staying right here.
And honestly, for Cincinnati, like Trey Hendrickson's fantastic. I have no issue with paying Trey Hendrickson money if I'm the Bengals, but you just signed Shamar Stewart. You're going to get the rookie contract figured out at some point. Like that one's going to get figured out. So you signed him to be Trey Hendrickson's replacement. You had no intention of ever giving Trey Hendrickson an extended deal that isn't team friendly. He's going to be a 32-year-old pass rusher next season. How much more lifespan does he have in the NFL?
Probably not a ton.
Probably not a ton. So Trey Hendrickson is in a position where he has no leverage here. Like he needs to go out and have a prove it year and finish his career with a 2-year deal somewhere else. He's not going to be able to. Why would they give him a deal? They just got his replacement in the draft. They have him under contract. If he wants to sit out this year, so be it. But they're not going to give him another extended contract with money. He's old.
Well, another guy who's old, Tyreek Hill, going on 32 this year, I believe. You were saying before we started recording that you would like to see him in New England. I disagreed. I had made the case that why would I want a 32-year-old Diggs, 32-year-old Tyreek Hill, both making 30 plus million or whatever it is, with a rookie quarterback, both known to be locker room issues.
Talent over everything. That's what it comes down. I think Vrabel said he needs some assholes in the locker room. I just don't think Diggs and Tyreek on the same team would be good for the organization. Like you can only have the one diva. But is Tyreek really a diva in the end of the day? Not as much as Diggs, I don't think.
Well, I agree with that. I think Diggs actually might be a better person overall, but I think he's a bigger diva than Tyreek.
Well, I mean, did Diggs have a kid yet? Diggs don't have a kid, I don't think.
He's got to have like 12 to catch up to Tyreek.
Let me see. Stephon Diggs' kid.
One might be coming with Cardi B. Who knows?
Has one child, a daughter named Nova, born on October 14th, 2016. Okay, so damn. So he's 30.
That was 10 years ago.
Okay, so she's pretty old. Trayvon Diggs, Stephon's younger brother, has 3 kids. Okay, so all right, interesting. Alleged mother of Stephon Diggs' child claims people are being mean, making horrible comments about newborn amid Cardi B romance. Alleged mother. Did he have another kid too? I think he had another kid.
I don't know.
All right. Well, okay. So got a lot of rappers and kids out of wedlock here. That's the problem. And they got a lot. So honestly, I think Tyreek he likes having babies. All right. But like off the field issues, I think Tyreek would be a better locker room guy than Stephon Diggs. Like the Bills openly said, like, we do not want you here. And they were better without him. And they had less talent at receiver and were better without him.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. Even though, again, I think Tyreek's probably a worse guy. I would say Diggs is the bigger locker room issue.
Tyreek just likes playing video games. Like at this point in his career.
And assaulting his children.
I didn't see that part. I don't know. I mean, bottom line is he plays a lot of video games.
He does play a lot of video games.
When do you saw his kids?
Do you not remember? I think it was back in Kansas City. He told his kid to like stand with his arms behind his back so he could punch him in the chest, and he broke his kid's arm.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's really bad. That's also, again, you know what? I'm going to say this: talent over everything. TOE. That's true. That's a true statement. Talent over everything.
It is a true statement, and it's why, like, when Shador was falling during the NFL draft, it's like, hey, he could be charged with the worst crimes in the entire world, but if he could throw that football better, he would have been picked in the first round.
Talent over everything. That's what they say. That's what they say in the league, and that's true. I mean, Tyreek did that. I mean, that's crazy. I don't remember that story coming out. Maybe because it was so long ago with him in Kansas City. But again, all the news cycle of him in Kansas City was like him just catching touchdown passes from Patrick Mahomes. So I think it faded a little bit.
Any legs to Terry McLaurin getting traded, do you think, Tanner?
Who are they going to replace him with?
So that's the thing. I don't know if who they would. I had said that if this happened, like just hypothetically, let's say Terry goes out for a pick and a player or like 2 picks. You package those picks with someone that's has value, but you're not in love with that's on your team, and you try to move them. I was just trying to come up with a list of guys that would be available and that would also make sense. I think that would put you looking at like, this is reaching a little bit, but Drake London and Chris Olave, I would think guys in sort of that tier is who you would be shooting for. I don't know if you could acquire them or not. I do have an article here from Bleacher Report where Christopher Knox listed some of his top 6 Terry McLaurin trade packages that he thinks are realistic. And this one was the most interesting to me. It was the New York Jets. The Jets would get Terry McLaurin, Austin Eckler, and a 5th-round pick. And the Commanders would get Breece Hall and a 2nd-round pick. And I thought that was interesting.
That's a great deal. I would take that in a minute. Now, you're going to be worse at receiver this year. That's the problem.
Yeah, and the thing with Terry, too, his value, he makes sense for a Jets or a Patriots even, teams with young quarterbacks who are trying to establish their culture. Terry's like the #1 culture guy in the entire NFL, but he did have such a close relationship, and he was so crucial to Jaden Daniels' development that it would be playing with fire if you got rid of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of him. And also, too, if you stick Terry in the locker room with Stephon Diggs, I don't think that's going to work out very well, too. Like Diggs is in a locker room where like he is the guy. There's nobody else who's the guy. Like Mac Hollins, maybe. But plus a bunch of no-name receivers.
Keyshawn Boutte.
Yeah, no-name receivers. That's my point.
That's not a no-name. That's a great name.
It's a great name. It's a no statistical name. There's no stats behind it. Like the Patriots receiver room, like it's just look up the depth chart real quick. It's bad.
Jalen Polk, Kyle Williams.
I kind of like Kyle Williams a little bit.
I do too. I just traded for him in Dynasty.
Diggs, Demario Douglas, Kyle Williams, Keyshawn Boutte, Mac Hollins, Kendrick Bourne, who's old, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Ifan Chisholm.
That's so bad.
Like then that Chisholm's probably going to get like he's on the. I'd say Polk and Chisholm are on the chopping block.
And Polk was a 2nd-round pick a year or 2 ago.
Polk on the chopping block? Probably not. Polk's not on the chopping block. Maybe he is. I don't know. They're going to keep. So Diggs is on the team. Demario Douglas on the team. Kyle Williams is on the team, obviously, because they just picked him. I can't see. I don't know with Jalen Polk. I don't know. I've heard his name bounced around as potential trade bait, but
he was a 2nd-round pick last year. He's got to still have some value.
They wouldn't get rid of him. No. Let's say projected Jeff chart. It's bad though. It's really bad, New England. They're not going to.
We're looking at projected draft depth charts for the Patriots.
All right, Patriots projected draft or depth chart right here, right now. Diggs. Yeah, they got Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk's on the chopping block.
Do they have Kyle Williams as the #2?
Kyle Williams is the #2. Yeah. So right now your top 6 would be Diggs, Hollins, Douglas, Williams, Bourne, Boutte.
That sounds right.
You're going to keep 6 or 7?
6 or 7, yeah.
So that means Baker, Polk, and Chisholm are on the chopping block.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe Kendrick Bourne. Maybe get rid of Kendrick Bourne too.
They should never have let who's my guy on the Raiders who was in New England? Kendrick Bourne. They should have held on to Kendrick Bourne.
They have good. Bourne. They got Kendrick Bourne.
Or not Kendrick Bourne. What was his name? Who's the Raiders guy? I gotta go to the Raiders.
I know. He went with Josh. He left with Josh.
Oh wait. Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers, yeah, he left with Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all suck. Anyways, that was Ride the Line. The greatest podcast at sports betting entertainment, Grant.
Another show in the book?
Another show in the books. 2-0. No, this is like we're like show 300, I feel like. We're at 202 subscribers, I believe. So keep subscribing.
Yes, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out when we post. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this episode. Jump in the comments. We talked about a bunch of things, so just leave us your thoughts. NBA Finals picks, Patriots depth chart predictions, whatever it is, go to the comments. We respond to everybody, and we will catch you all in the next episode of Ride the Line.